The photographer adjusted my brother's family into yet another perfect pose, carefully making sure I wasn't in it. "Could you step aside, just a little?" he said without looking at me. "We're keeping the wedding album clean and consistent." I stepped back behind one of the marble columns bordering the Ashford estate terrace, Derek's reception venue. 300 acres of curated perfection, manicured gardens, an 18th-century mansion, the kind of wealth that preferred understatement over spectacle. Derek had married Penelope Hartford, the kind of woman whose last name appeared on university libraries and equestrian trophies. This made photo exclusion number 5 in under an hour. "It's not personal, Margot," Mom had insisted earlier, gently guiding me away from the formal portraits. "Penelope's family is very particular about their image. They're aiming for a certain cohesion." Translation: you don't match the aesthetic. At 29, I was the family outlier, no husband, no kids, no corporate title. I worked in fashion, an industry they regarded as a phase rather than a profession. My vintage Vivienne Westwood dress, which I'd chosen specifically for today, apparently clashed with the Hartford brand of timeless elegance. "Maybe wear something more understated tomorrow," Penelope had suggested at rehearsal dinner, eyeing the outfit like it offended her. "We're going for classic." I'd smiled and stayed silent, the same way I did when Derek asked me not to bring up my fashion stuff in front of her parents. "They're traditional," he'd said. "They wouldn't get it." My clutch vibrated, my encrypted business line. I slipped out to the terrace. From James Morrison, Vogue final layout approved. Cover drop 6 a.m. tomorrow. It's flawless. Prepare for impact. Me, excellent. Sit tight until after the toasts. James Morrison, editor-in-chief of Vogue, the man behind the 12-page feature they'd been working on for months. Interviews, photo shoots in my New York, Milan, and Tokyo studios. Tomorrow, my face would be on the cover of Vogue. What my family didn't know, because I was legally under embargo, was that my fashion stuff was Margot Hayes' Atelier, a luxury brand quietly dominating the industry. Runways in Paris and Milan, boutiques in 12 countries, celebrities fighting over custom gowns. Last collection, 72 million in sales. Tomorrow, Vogue would announce to the world what my own family had dismissed as a hobby. 7 years ago, I started with one sewing machine in a Brooklyn apartment. When I missed Derek's law school graduation for my first New York Fashion Week show, Dad told me to stop pretending and get serious. When I opened my first boutique, Mom asked when I'd grow out of dress up. They'd never stepped foot in one of my stores, never asked about my work beyond polite nods over dinner. They didn't realize that while Derek became junior partner, I quietly became a global powerhouse worth over 200 million. From Paris, store line around the block this morning. From Milan, Chiara Ferragni posted the gown you sent, 4 million likes in 2 hours. Me, send her 3 more looks, confirm James's flight. From Anna, landing at 8:30, says he can't wait for the show. Dinner moved through 4 immaculate courses before the toasts began. Derek's best man delivered predictable law school stories. Penelope's maid of honor cried through an ode to their once-in-a-lifetime love. Dad followed with a speech about legacy, about Derek proudly carrying forward the Hayes tradition of success. As usual, I did not exist. Then the DJ's voice boomed through the speakers. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a surprise guest who'd like to say a few words." Every head turned as James Morrison strode into the ballroom, perfect suit, unmistakable presence, the kind of man whose face lived on media panels and fashion documentaries. Polite confusion rippled through the Hartford tables. Penelope blinked, Derek frowned, Catherine Hartford whispered sharply to her husband. "Good evening," James said smoothly. "I apologize for the intrusion, but when Margot Hayes mentioned her brother was getting married, I thought it only right I attend." Table 14, the table they'd tucked me behind a floral barricade, became the center of the universe. For those who don't know, I'm James Morrison, editor-in-chief of Vogue, and tomorrow morning, Margot's face will be on our cover for a feature titled The Quiet Revolution in Luxury Fashion. He held up his phone. The venue's screen flickered to life. There I was, photographed by Annie Leibovitz, Vogue across the top, the headline. Margot Hayes, the designer redefining modern elegance. A collective gasp swept the room. Mom's champagne glass wobbled in her hand. Margot Hayes' Atelier has become one of the most influential luxury houses operating today, James continued. 12 international boutiques, A clientele list that includes global royalty and every A-list name in entertainment. Her last collection generated revenue comparable to century-old heritage brands. Silence, shock, open mouths. Her gowns have graced everyone from Zenaya to the Crown Princess of Sweden. Her sustainability strategy is studied at Harvard Business School. She's been recognized by the United Nations. Penelope looked like she was watching a ghost walk out of my body. But the most remarkable thing, James said, slowing his cadence, is that she built this empire while being told, by her own family, that fashion was a hobby, that she needed to grow up, that her future lay elsewhere. He turned to face my family directly. She built it anyway. He extended his hand toward me. Applause erupted, hesitant at first, then thunderous, as I stood, my scarlet dress no longer too bold, but suddenly iconic. The feature publishes tomorrow, James said softly, smiling at me, but I thought they should hear it from me tonight. He pressed the printed cover into my hands. Me, confident, powerful, undeniable. The room buzzed like a shaken hive. Guests were already Googling, how did we miss her? How big is her company? Is she really worth? James hugged me and whispered, midnight, then chaos. As he exited for his flight, the energy shifted entirely. The same Hartford relatives who'd avoided eye contact all night suddenly couldn't stop smiling in my direction. But I was watching my family's table. Mom scrolling frantically, Dad showing Derek something on his phone, both looking between the screen and me like reality had split in two. Penelope had gone pale. Derek approached first, Penelope hovered behind. Margot, we didn't know. You never asked, I said, calm, steady, unapologetic. For 7 years, I tried to tell you, you called it a phase. When I invited you to Paris Fashion Week, you said you were too busy. When I opened my Soho flagship, you said it wasn't your scene. Penelope swallowed, but, you could have explained. I smiled, just slightly. I did, you just weren't listening. If we'd known you were successful. Successful? I repeated softly. I was successful when I made my first sale, when I hired my first employee, when a celebrity wore one of my designs. Success isn't defined by magazine covers or headlines, but that's all you ever cared to see. Mom moved beside Dad, guilt tightening her expression. Sweetheart, we are proud, we wish you'd told us how big this had become. I tried, I said, you weren't listening, you were too busy hoping I'd become a lawyer or doctor, too worried about what the Hartfords would think of my fashion phase. Catherine Hartford stepped forward, her smile suddenly polished and eager. Miss Hayes, Margot, we'd love to discuss your brand sometime, perhaps a custom piece for our daughter's honeymoon wardrobe. I'm booked 2 years in advance, I replied politely, but I'll have my team put you on the waiting list. The photographer approached cautiously. Miss Hayes, would you be willing to retake a few family photos, for the album? I think you already got the image you wanted, I said, wouldn't want to disrupt your cohesion. My phone buzzed, then buzzed again, and again. Vogue leak in Asia, fashion forums exploding, my name climbing the trending charts. Derek touched my arm. Margot. I'm sorry, I should have supported you. You should have, I agreed, but you didn't. You decided my work wasn't real success. We'll fix it, Mom said quickly. We'll come to your next show, visit your stores. I don't need your support now, I said quietly. I needed it 7 years ago, when I was sleeping in my studio, when investors tried to take advantage of me, when I invited you to my first Fashion Week show and you said you were too busy. I smiled, calm, collected. But I didn't wait for your approval, I built my empire anyway. The room had gone quiet behind us, guests whispering, screens lighting up, my name on every one. I stepped outside for air. From James, you're trending #1 worldwide, welcome to the next level. Notifications poured in faster than I could read, designers, editors, celebrities, all of them. Derek followed me, I didn't realize it was that big. I thought you were just making clothes for fun. I was building a $200 million company, I said evenly. He hesitated. Your work is incredible. I finally looked. I never knew. No, I said, you didn't. Can we fix this? Maybe, but only if you understand this. Creative work is real work. My path was valid, even when you refused to see it. He swallowed. I get it now. Do you? Or do you just get it because Vogue told you to? Silence. That's what I thought. I adjusted my scarlet dress. Enjoy your wedding, Derek, congratulations. I went back inside, grabbed my clutch, and ordered my car. Let the reception continue without me. Let them whisper. Let them reevaluate everything they thought they knew. From Anna, Paris launch confirmed. Rihanna's stylist called. Netflix wants to discuss a documentary. Me, yes to Paris. Send Rihanna the exclusive portfolio. Netflix next month. As the car pulled away, the estate glowing behind me, I thought. They tried to crop me out of the picture. Tomorrow, my face would be on every screen in the world. They called my life's work a hobby. Tomorrow, the world would call it an empire. They made me invisible. I became legendary. And I did it in the scarlet dress they said was too much. Perfect. Almost as perfect as my next collection.